Hey gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey and this is the 2022 Buick Envision Avenir. And while yes, we have tested the Envision here on the channel before, we have not tested this top trim Avenir before. This really ups the luxury game and compares nicely against the vehicle we had on the channel last week in the 2023 Mazda CX-50. Does this have enough luxury touches to uproot the Mazda CX-30 at its own game? And what's this one like to drive? Stay tuned to find out. All right, gearheads, let's get right into it. Under the hood of this one, we have General Motors 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 228 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to the front wheels in this version, but you can get an all-wheel drive version to even out the power just a little bit. This one is also mated to General Motors 9-speed automatic, which is very good in its smoothness and how it works, and even has a sport shift mode with metal paddles on the back of the steering wheel. But you take a look at the styling and you can see a lot of similarities in what we tested last week in that 2023 Mazda CX-50. It's a lot of what I like about this vehicle and that vehicle. It feels very low and wide in its styling, and Buick emphasizes that with this winged grille up front that does have Buick's outgoing logo, which will be replaced on future models. You do get some amazing headlights on these. I have driven this one at night. They are multi-directional, and there is even an extra light here that when you turn the wheel or put the blinker on, gives a little more light in the direction that you're turning. I really like these headlights. And then you get this cool LED running light that is mimicked back in the back, but we'll talk about that here in a little bit. I don't like exactly how this is a fake vent. It seems like we could have given some airflow out around the front of the vehicle, but not overall that bad. But again, mimicking the style, or maybe that CX-50 is mimicking the style of this, since the Envision did come first. You do get a very chrome grille that lets everyone know you have the luxury model. All around, it is a very handsome look from up front. Let's move around to the side. You can see a little bit of the differences of this and one of its main competitors in that Mazda CX-50, because this one is just a little bit shorter. Well, that Mazda did have an extra window back here. The Buick stops with the windows on the door, but I think the design of this one is very clean and very elegant, even with that Avenir script down on the door, letting everyone know that you got the top trim. I really like this dark garnet red, kind of purpley color actually. Really gives it a nice classy look with all this contrasting chrome all the way around it. Really, really pops when it's clean and shiny just like this and driving down the road. Speaking of those windows, I really like how Buick has just taken this window all the way to the edge. There's no black plastic here. This is actually the glass going all the way to the edge of the door with a little rubber strip to protect the edge of it. Again, just another really classy look. General Motors also puts the remote access button on all 4 doors so that no matter where you are next to the vehicle, you can unlock it and get in. Another thing I want to give huge kudos to General Motors for is their remote start. Other vehicles and other manufacturers choose to kill their vehicles when remote started, when you even unlock the vehicle, much less open the door. I was putting my child in the back seat of this one and was able to remote start it while in the process, just to help get the airflow to cool them off in a hot East Texas fall day. But I really, really like this vehicle, and it has proven to be very luxurious. And hopping into the Envision Avenir, the luxury and nice touches continue. You get this whisper beige leather on a lot of different surfaces in here, and I absolutely love the stitching on the seats. They are heated and ventilated, but General Motors has chosen in this time of chip shortage to omit that feature temporarily, and dealers will retrofit it to make them work after the fact. You do get a $50 credit on your window sticker for taking that hit. That is just so General Motors can churn out more vehicles and not take the hit on overall volume. So while this particular one is not currently equipped with heated and ventilated seats, that will come shortly, and if you bought one, that would also be the case for you. Everything in here is very well laid out and angled towards the driver. You get 2 analog gauges here in front of you for your speedometer and your tach that do a nice sweep when you start up, and they flank a center helper screen that tells you everything from your fuel economy, your driver assistance, your radio, your navigation. Pretty much anything you want can be accessed in that center digital section, and you also get a nice heads-up display to give you your current speed, your posted speed, and your cruise control. And that's really all you need up there to just keep your eyes focused on the road. Moving down to this just over 10-inch color touchscreen display. It is very nice, again, angled towards the driver. Does a good job of reducing glare in almost every situation. I just wish it filled out the rest of this area a little bit better, like some of the new screens that General Motors are putting in their Blazer EV, for example. Moving down, you get a very small but very effective climate vents, your hazard button, and then your row of climate control buttons. Very easy to operate, and I already mentioned the heated seats issue. You do get a piano black sliding panel that covers your Qi wireless charger. You get a USB-A and USB-C, as well as a cigarette style plug in there. You get a row of buttons for your auto start stop while driving in traffic, a blank, I'm sure that is for the all-wheel drive, lane departure warning, traction control, parking sensors, and all that good stuff up there. Row of buttons here for your transmission, drive mode button here that takes you through snow, tour, and sport modes, electronic parking brake, forward and aft cup holders, and then even some storage way under here because of this electronic gear selector. I really like the additional storage. Get a rather tall center console here that is split folding, so one of you can have your arm on the armrest and somebody can still get in there. Very nice there as well. Some wood look touches here on the door, 2-person memory seat with an exit mode, auto up down front windows but not the back windows, mirror controls, and then down here low on the door you get your adjustable height control for that rear hatch. Speaking of the rear hatch, let's move further backward and see what that back row is like. Hopping in the back seat of the Envision Avenir, it's very comfortable. It is firm, but also very supportive. Not too firm. You are going to find this actually very comfortable. Nice place to sit, and you see I'm sitting behind myself at 5'10". I've got plenty of room behind the driver's seat. You do get the Whisper beige leather seats back here. Again, that really nice stitching, and heated outboard seats. Again, not currently operational in this model, but that will come at a later date. 2 air vents back here, a USB-A and USB-C, as well as a household style plug, all on the back of this rather tall center console. Moving up, I get full view of this large panoramic roof that goes all the way back over my head and gives a nice view of the sky. I really like the panoramic roof in this vehicle. Again, more of the wood look touches back here, some leather on the doors, and a very nice back seat. Not a penalty box, and definitely not an afterthought here in the Buick Envision Avenir. The center seat back does fold down to be a dual cup holder armrest and folds back into place, and this does have a 60-40 split bench folding back row, and the 40% is here because this is a global vehicle designed primarily to sell in China, but definitely doing a very good job of appealing to luxury shoppers over here in America. Moving just a little bit further back from those back doors are these Continental Pro Contact 245/45 20-inch wheels and tires, and I think it is a very classy look on this Buick Envision Avenir, and they do a good job of maintaining contact with the road, so I really like this wheel and tire package on this luxury cruiser. And finally, moving to the back of the the Buick Envision Avenir, you get more handsome, classy, upscale styling. I really like the LED taillights with the LED turn signal, and that running light does mimic the LED running light up front. Chrome Buick Envision and Avenir badges back here on the back really give it a nice touch. And then Buick puts their Buick logo down here in a puddle light to activate the kick to open rear hatch, which opens to give you a very good sized rear cargo compartment that does a good job of swallowing a lot of cargo. You do get this hard parcel shelf that I thought died out in the 90s, but does do a good job of making sure your cargo is more secure under here than a soft roller shade could. Again, nice storage back here, 60/40 split bench seat, couple of bag hooks on the sides here, some lighting, and then a cigarette style outlet there on the side, so you can power some devices back here. You do have a spare tire underneath the floor here with a little bit of storage out and around it, so that is a nice touch here. And then to close the hatch, you can either push the button here, or again, find that puddle light and just give it a little kick and it will close back down. All right, gearheads, setting off in the Buick Envision Avenir is as easy as pulling up on the drive switch here on the transmission panel. And getting behind the wheel and driving is very easy. I did mention the 2-person position memory seats up here. Really like that. Works well for my wife and I because we are differing heights, so makes for a very nice vehicle and a luxurious touch there. And then sitting in these seats, they are very comfortable. The ride is very comfortable. The steering is easy and light. It's everything you would expect in a luxury vehicle. It definitely does not feel big or enormous. It is not hard to pilot around town. And in fact, spoiler alert for her video, Holly's first time to drive it was in the middle of downtown Dallas, which is not the easiest location to get to learn a vehicle for the very first time. Truly appreciate her willingness to play along on that one. Very thankful for her and her work here on the channel. Setting off, that turbocharged 4-cylinder does a good job of pulling me forward, and it is a front-wheel drive platform, though, like I said, you can get all-wheel drive. The 9-speed transmission is smooth and effortless. I don't feel it shifting. It just does its job how you would expect it to. It's never hunting for gears. It is really good at pairing with this turbocharged 4-cylinder. Turning down the road here, we'll give it just a little bit of a test out and see just how quick this little vehicle is. All right. So this is definitely no drag racer. This is definitely geared more towards the luxurious driving experience versus the sporty driving experience. And I know I keep bringing up that 2023 Mazda CX-50, but not only do they compare so well in design, price, and size, they also share a lot in common in the fact that we've had them both over the past 2 weeks here at the channel and have made for a good comparison to have a side-by-side like that. This one definitely bends more towards the luxury side of things, where that one definitely bent more towards the sporty side of things. That's not to say this one is any slouch. This one actually does quite a good job at moving around as well, because it isn't all that big and it definitely isn't all that heavy, and makes for a very easy and pleasant driving experience. And again, going back to Holly's drive of it around Dallas, she said that it had more than enough get up and go for any merging on-ramp, off-ramp situation. So that's saying a lot from someone who doesn't actually just gush over a lot of power in vehicles. She noticed that this was very adequately powered, but I'll quit spoiling her review and just invite you to be sure and subscribe to check that one out when it drops later this week. Driving position is very good. Everything is right where I want it. The screen is canted towards me so I can get to it easily. I will note we've got two knobs here with the home button in the middle. Volume knob is actually the further one away to reach, but you can use the buttons on the back of the steering wheel. So you have volume on the right and seek on the left. Speaking of the back of the steering wheel, you get real that's metal paddle shifters, even though they're like quarter paddles. That's just the part that sticks up. But you put it in manual here and you can drop it down a few gears and get going and then shift up. Take it out of manual, puts it back in drive, and it allows you to go down and just let the 9-speed do its thing, because it does it quite well. The visibility out of this vehicle is very good. We've got blind spot monitoring. We've got very large open windows. We even have little windows up here where the rear view mirror would normally be mounted, but because these are pedestal mounted, you get just a little extra visibility up front here, which I think is very nice and important. Speaking of visibility, we have General Motors rear view camera system. So not only is this just your typical camera where I can see the headrests and people behind me, comes in handy with my son back there in his car seat, but I can flip this switch here, and using that camera on the rear hatch, I can see directly out behind me. The resolution could be better, but it does the job very well. And once you get used to the fact that that's a camera up there and not an actual mirror in this configuration, it's a very easy way to go about seeing around you and seeing behind you. The visors are nice, though a little bit thin, and our garage door opener fell off on me in Dallas traffic the first time I flipped it down, though if this were your vehicle, you wouldn't need garage door openers because you have 3 HomeLink buttons built in here. These do extend to give you a better shade coverage from the sun here on the side. And when you lock them into place, you do get lighting back behind them. Very nice there. Controls on the steering wheel, you can control the screen behind the steering wheel in the gauge cluster there, and your cruise control buttons are over here on the left side. Again, very nice vehicle all the way around, very comfortable ride. We've driven this just over 370 miles. We're averaging 23.8 mpg from that turbocharged 4-cylinder at an average speed of 28.3. So, you know, do the math if you want to, but we've done combined city and highway driving. That essentially 24 mpg fuel economy number is very good and very comparable with what's on the window sticker. 24 city, 31 highway, 26 combined. Again, we've done some combined work, so it's a little below that 26 on the window sticker, but still very good and respectable showing here on this front wheel drive Buick Envision Avenir. Price of our tester, $45,305, and I'd say you get quite a bit for that price, though in the $45,000 realm. I know we've tested a lot of SUVs in that price range, and I just wish this were a little bit bigger. I wish Buick had something to fill the gap between this Envision and the bigger Enclave, something in that Chevy Blazer realm that they just don't offer currently. It'll be interesting to see with the future of Buick going all electric, exactly what they start rolling out over the coming years. Be sure and stay tuned here to see just what that might be for future videos. There you have it, gearheads, my short take on this 2022 Buick Envision Avenir, a very luxurious compact crossover from the Buick brand. And while no, it's not quite as sporty as that Mazda CX-50 I keep referring to, it is definitely a little more luxurious in its overall approach. It's light steering, it's comfortable interior, it's very quiet ride, definitely give you an upscale feel on the inside. And after spending a week at the Texas Auto Riders Texas Truck Rodeo driving off-road vehicles, it's really nice to come home and drive this. If you want to see those off-road videos or even my wife's take on this vehicle, be sure and hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell so you are notified every time a new video drops here on the channel. If you want to find out what we are driving before it is uploaded here, go find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everything at GT Garage Talk, or you can head on over to gtgaragetalk.com where you will find links to everything we do. As for me, I'm going to go enjoy just a little bit more time in this luxurious compact crossover. Till next time, gearheads, bye. Stay tuned to find out. This is Corey. This is Corey. Oh, I already hit record. Why did I hit record? As far as the overall design and dimensions, oh gosh.